Yo, what's up people? Hope you're well. In this video I'm going to be showing you 5 ways to make your animations look expensive. These are techniques that I use in every single one of my animations I ever do. And if you want to join the Discord server with hundreds of like-minded editors and get free assets, you can join through the link in the pinned comment. And without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the tutorial. One of the biggest mistakes I see beginners make is using bad fonts. Generally, when making your animations, you want to use sans serif and display fonts for not only their readability, but they fit the infographic and educational animation style really well. And here's a list of fonts that I use the most: Balto, Dharma, Owners, Satoshi, Grotesque, and Approach Mono. And an extra tip is to change the tracking of the text, which is here on the text panel, and all it does is just change the size of the gaps between the letters. And if you want to see how I made all these animations in this video, or get access to any of my project files, or just simply support me, you can become a Patreon linked in the pinned comment. When it comes to animations, a good color palette is super vital. Your colors need intention more than anything. That's why you generally stay away from super solid colors like pure reds, greens, and blues, as they can be really distracting and also just look really terrible on screen. Whenever I'm making animations, I first pick the color of the background around the mood of the video. If it's playful but educational, maybe a more abstract color, light pink, red, a deep blue, a deep purple maybe. But if you want a more slick, professional style, like Vox for example, just go for shades of black and white. Moving on from backgrounds, you got text color. I almost always go for F3, F3, F3 white, or 10, 10, 10 black for my text, as it's clear and readable. But if there's an important word or something I said of value, I either change the color or highlight it in a different color. And if you want a website that generates color palettes for you, you can go to Coolors, which I'll link in the description, and you simply just press spacebar and it will change the color palette infinitely for you. Textures are easily one of the most important things when it comes to your animations. Without them, they'll look flat and empty. And there are 3 general rules I like to use for my textures. So as I mentioned earlier, I have just a solid color, a nice abstract one. There's the hex code if you want it. And then I've got 2 textures here from Textures Lab, a paint texture and a dot texture. So I'm just going to hide the dot texture for now, and I'm going to go to the paint one and press S on our keyboard, bring up the scale. I'm just going to downsize it until it fits the comp. And then what I'm going to do is, the first rule is going through all the different blending modes. So I'm going to hold shift on my keyboard, then hit the plus sign, and just cycle through all the blending modes until I find one I like. So just looking here. Okay. So I think overlay is my favorite. And then rule 2 is going to be changing the opacity of your texture. So here I think it's a little bit high, so I'm going to press T on my keyboard and just put 50% in, and you see how it's more subtle now than it was before. You can make it whatever opacity you want, just as long as it fits. After doing the paint texture, I'm going to come to the dot texture, turn it on. I'm just going to scale it down to fit the comp again, go shift plus and cycle through all the blending modes again to see which one I like the most. Okay, I think soft light is good. I don't think I'm going to change the opacity on it. But then this is the 3rd rule, which is optional and situational. I'm going to get the effect levels. I'm just going to drag it onto the dot texture. I'm going to zoom in a decent bit, right? And then I'm going to come to these little arrows here, and I'm just going to drag it inwards. And you can see how the texture is becoming slightly lighter because we are lowering the input white. That's what I like to do for textures like these, and then it becomes more subtle. Maybe it's a little zoomed out, so we're just going to zoom in a little with the dot texture, and it looks a lot better. You see, these are the 3 rules that I use for every single texture I ever use. So for text, objects, literally anything, if you're ever using a texture, use these 3 rules. Usually when doing a position animation, you do something really simple, which is just something like this, really basic. I'm going to press P on our keyboard and just do a very basic slide in position animation coming in from the right side of the screen. Give it some nice easing. Super general basic stuff, right? So it comes in, maybe make it a little bit faster, like so. And then what I'm going to do is to make it better, like way better, really simply, is by using one of the 12 animation principles called timing and motion. Just a really, really, low effort way of making it look instantly better. So I'm going to come to this keyframe, your last keyframe, and I'm going to Control C and then come a little bit along and just Control V it, right? And then before anything, I'm going to highlight our keyframes, and you are going to go to keyframe interpolation and make sure spatial interpolation here is on linear instead of Bezier, otherwise this won't work. So you're going to come back to this keyframe here, and you're just going to move it a little bit to the right, only a tiny bit. So the direction it came from, which is the right, and you're just going to move it a little bit extra to the right. You're going to come to the graph editor. That looks about right. We're going to give it a watch. So nice. It comes in and has a lot more personality and looks significantly better. And then on the way out, we are also going to do the same thing. So we're going to make a keyframe, come over here, and then just drag it off screen. But then we're going to come back to this keyframe. We're going to Control C, come a little bit before it, and then Control V. And then this keyframe here is going to be moving back a slight bit like that. And then we're going to check the graph, and we're just going to make sure this one's a mountain graph, and then we're just going to watch it. So it comes in like that, and then goes out like that. We can watch it on loop, like so. You see how it has a lot more personality, and it's just really low-hanging fruit. And this also applies to the scale. So if I'm just going to duplicate this and delete the position animation, I'm going to come to the scale, going to animate it, then we're going to go a little bit before, then we're going to go to 0 from the beginning, and we're going to right click, easy ease, and then we are just going to make it a basic L graph, and then we're going to right click anywhere here and go to edit value graph. And then around this curve here, usually like a little bit after half, we're going to hold Control on our keyboard and click. And then what we're going to do is just drag it up so this line, this little red curve is over the line here, this 100 line. And then now you'll watch. Oh, let me hide that again. Now we'll watch. So it's a very, very slow. So I'm going to highlight it, hold Alt, just drag in a little, move that a little bit forwards. So you see how it comes in, gets bigger, and then gets smaller. It's just a really simple way of adding personality and extra smoothness to your animations, and I highly recommend you do it. So right here, I have a super basic animation with a background and moving border texture, and it's just a really simple text animation here. And what I'm going to do is do my original source that I usually do. So Control Alt and Y to bring up an adjustment layer. Just name this one FBS, and then I'm going to type posterize time, back it on, make it 12. Then I'm going to make another adjustment layer and call this one FX. And I'm going to throw my usual FX on there, which is just these effects here. You can copy them, or you can simply get them for free on my Patreon. The preset is completely free. Use it for whatever you like. Whatever. I don't care. So yeah, just super basic, but there is a way to enhance it even further in unique ways. So I'm going to make another adjustment layer, and we're going to call this one Halation. Now for this, you will need a third-party plugin called Dehancer, which is not free, but it will be linked down below. So I'm just going to drag it on, and we're going to go through each one of these and make sure they aren't enabled. So film off, film compression, turn expand off, print off, film grain off, and then halation enabled. So for this, I like to just put the impact on 50 and leave the source limiter alone, but obviously for different animations it's going to be different. So for here, it should be good if I turn the impact a little bit up, maybe 75. Okay, then next I'm going to create another adjustment layer, and we're going to call this one warp. I'm going to drag this below the halation layer, and I'm just going to type up optics compensation, and then I'm going to click this reverse lens distortion, and we're going to make it anywhere from 15 to 25, and then this adds a nice warp to the edges. Okay, and finally I'm just going to create another adjustment layer. I'm going to rename this one Flicker, and I'm going to put it above the FX layer, and I'm just going to look up the effect brightness and contrast, whack it on here, hold Alt, and then animate the brightness to bring up the expression window, and I'm just going to type wiggle 50,5. And then this is just going to add a really subtle flicker. You'll barely even notice it, but when watching, it will look great. With the source added, this is going to be your final result. Super basic, and bear in mind on your animations that you use this on, your values are going to be needing to be different for the halation, warp, and flicker. Right, whatever you do, make it unique to yourself. That's what makes it source. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, drop a like. I'd appreciate it very much. And comment any other tutorials you'd like to see down below. I'll be sure to note them down. My next tutorial is going to be documentary style intros, which should be a banger. I'm sorry for how long this one took. I didn't want to, but I'm so busy with client work at the moment. It's really hard to balance this. Lastly, my socials and any relevant links will be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.